The school of thought known as Stoicism derives its name from where it was located in the Stoa Poikile, or the painted colonnade in the Agora of ancient Athens. Its founder, Zeno of Citium, who lived from 334 to 262 BCE, was a successful merchant who was stranded in Athens after a shipwreck. There, he picked up a book, none other than the memoirs of Socrates by the Athenian historian Xenophon. And this changed his life, as the living Socrates had done for Plato. And Socrates became a model for how to live even in the Stoic way. Stoicism became an influential school of thought that continued well into the Roman Empire and influenced the development of Christianity as well, which saw in it useful ideas to explain the Christian message. Among the Stoic proponents was a former slave named Epictetus, who became a leading teacher of Stoicism in the 1st century. And there was a Roman emperor as well, Marcus Aurelius, whose private diary reveals his daily reflection and contemplation on how to live the good life with Stoic restraint in the face of life's pressures and temptations. So what are these Stoic ideas? Well, the Stoics believe that the universe is rationally ordered by the divine mind, and done so for the benefit of the most rational inhabitants, human beings. The universe, the cosmos, everything that exists is part of a living spirit called the Logos, a sort of world soul that animates all things and moves all things along. This divine mind, and we can call this Zeus or God or nature, but it underlies all that exists. And within each of us as individuals, there is a rational soul. And as we embrace the rational soul, we act in accordance with, rather than in opposition to, the divine mind. Since God created and moves the universe forward, there is a reason that everything is as it is. There's a master plan at work, though we may not understand this. And this means that we too are part of this master plan. Wherever you are in life, you were meant to be right there. Now, one may ask, does this mean that our actions are determined by God, by Zeus? Is there no free will? And Stoics might respond, what do you mean by free will? Aren't we all constrained by our personalities, our upbringings, our desires, the cultures in which we exist? We're not separated from our past or our present character. So even if you adhere to a radical free will position, you must then turn around and admit there are obvious constraints on our free will. Moreover, most of us don't even have a grasp on what truly makes us tick, on why we do what we do. And so, best to think through decisions before making them. And this requires a rational, non-emotional inquiry. Now, note that emotion and passions often are a problem. We may fly off the handle in anger. We may purchase something impulsively, feel pressured into doing something we don't want to, react out of fear. In each case, emotion drove the rational element away. And if we do not act in accordance with reason, we stray from the path that leads to harmony with the divine mind. Your actions are the expression of who you are and how you reason. And no matter what, they are understood to be your own choices. For the Stoics, there's no separation between what you do and who you are. You cannot profess a belief in something and act against those beliefs, because it is only what you do that manifests who you are. And so, Your character makes all the difference. And that is how you live in this world. We act justly because of the intrinsic benefits of doing this. We fulfill our obligations to the universe. We play the part that the universe has entrusted to us, as if we're actors on a stage. We don't revolt against our lot in life, but we live it out. The Stoics believe that we have programmed in us natural inclinations toward virtue and the good, an attachment to reason and truth, as well as natural inclination to be with others, and that's our social nature. And basic virtues are rooted in our human nature: justice, courage, wisdom, and moderation, self-control, and reason, which separates us from all other beings. This is part of our design. And so, if we act in a rational way, we are acting in accordance with the divine mind. Our natural function is to pursue the rational approach, and by doing this, we reflect the divine mind. If we live in accordance with reason, then we live in agreement with nature. This is the goal of the Stoic life. This is Stoic happiness, which is predicated on living undisturbed by the folly of the passions, by emotions that pull us away from the rational. It is predicated on apatheia, meaning unimpaired by the passions, not in what is conveyed by the English term apathy. So apatheia is living without the extremes of emotional disturbance, to live grounded in the rational approach and accepting what we must do, undeterred by any consequence that may come from doing what is right, which is the Stoic way. And here you see why Socrates was a hero. He lived modestly, he did what was right, even though it cost him his life. Stoics make no claim that life will be pain-free. Rather, they argue that it would be best to accept the role that you were given. And by doing this, you fulfill your purpose. Whether a slave like Epictetus, an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, whether a teacher or a firefighter, or a student taking this course. And how would Stoics deal with death? Well, they would point out apatheia and the understanding that the divine mind is at work, and they might respond more like Zhuangzi than Confucius. Epictetus wrote, "If you are caressing your child or your wife, say that you are caressing a human being, for when they die, then you will not be disturbed." And finally, since the divine mind created this world and the divine logos is guiding it, how do Stoics explain the problem of evil? Plato, at least, can say that it's due to flawed matter, or the failure of the properly arranged soul. But what can the Stoics say? Well, they struggle. As we have seen, when one posits an all-powerful deity, the problem of theodicy comes on strong, when seeking not to blame the desire for all the evil that exists. In their attempts to answer, Stoics continued to praise the divine, believing that suffering must have some role in a larger unseen good, or perhaps God wants a level of badness to provide humans with a chance to develop virtue, and that this does somehow generate still greater good. Contrast this with other answers provided in the course.